All right. Gravity Talks, Gravity Talks. Welcome. Come on in, streaming family.
Hello, everyone. Thank y'all so much for tuning in. Listen, guys, this is going to be an awesome, great discussion. So if you're already on, this is what I need you to do. I need you to find that like button. I need you to like it. But then also, I need you to do me a favor. Share and start a watch party. This discussion is going to be epic. And definitely, if you're looking to find that special someone, we got some experts here today that's going to talk about it. So share it, like it. You never know. This might get you your new boo. Come on.
Hey. Yeah, they're going to share some nuggets, y'all. Staying together through the pandemic. So let's tune on in, everybody. Come on in. Welcome, welcome, welcome. All right. So great afternoon. I'm Vicki Yelverton. I'm one of your proud hosts. I'm also proud CEO of Yelverton's Enrichment Services. And we've been providing services in the community for over 15 years. I'm also a MSW student at North Carolina Central University. I'm pursuing my master's in social work, and I'm excited to be here today.
Wonderful, wonderful. I am Natasha Lewis. I am pastor of Temple of Deliverance Church. I also work in mental health. I also have a nonprofit. I do a lot of different things in the community and for the Lord God. So I'm actually excited about being here as well.
Awesome, awesome. So as we had mentioned earlier, we're really excited about today's panel. Today, we're featuring Gravity Talks, mental health, and marriage, staying together through the pandemic. And we have some awesome couples with us this afternoon. They're going to share the good, the bad, and the ugly, I'm sure, and some nuggets, on how they've been able to stay together through everything. So without further ado, we're going to jump in on introductions. So let's start with, Team Curtis. Do you mind sharing with the people who you are, what you do, and how long y'all been married?
Well, my name is Tamor Curtis.
Thomas Curtis.
And we have been married now for 3 years. We are the pastors of the Net Fellowship Ministries located in North Raleigh. I am a registered nurse, and I've been a registered nurse now for 20 years.
I work for Corning Life Science. Places, she already answered. We've been married 3 years and growing strong.
And growing strong.
Awesome, awesome. I love it. Okay, well, welcome, Team Curtis. Okay, now Team Cherry, tell the people a little bit about who you are, what you do, and how long y'all been married.
I'm Jermaine Cherry.
And I'm Shakia Cherry. And we are known as the Cherries.
And we've been married for 18 years.
Ooh.
18. I work for Anheuser-Busch. I'm their trade activation manager. And I'm also a writer, producer, and director.
And I am the director of operations for the private duty nursing division at Yelverton's Enrichment Services.
Excited to be here.
Awesome, yay. Well, as I mentioned earlier, I'm really, really excited about this one because we want to just dive right in. I know a lot of people want to hear about how do you stay together through the pandemic. Some information that I've researched is that there have been a spike in divorces since the pandemic and breakups. And so, you all seem to be still thriving through it all. And so, of course, I think people need to hear from you guys and see what you have to share. So in regards to Gravity Talks, just a little bit about our show is Natasha and I felt it was important to kind of share and express the thread of mental health in all aspects of life. So whether it be in school, whether it be amongst our youth, whether it be in the church, whether it be amongst marriage, we know that there's a thread of mental health in everything that goes on in our lives. And so what we want to do is kind of explore those threads, how mental health does correlate to marriage, but also talk about marriage in general. So the first question that I want to kind of present to both couples is, what is your thought about mental health or connection you have to mental health, and how do you think it can impact marriage? So we'll start with the Cherries.
So the connection for mental health for us is actually a personal one with Jermaine. having to deal with it and being married for 18 years. It's so much that kind of goes on, and then with just life. So for me, my connection came through by the way of Jermaine.
Yeah, and so I think mental health is a very important topic, even more so now than ever before. With this pandemic and everything going on, you need somebody to talk to sometimes, somebody outside of your immediate family, a professional, somebody who can sit back, listen to what you have to say, and then give you some good, sound advice. So it's very important to get mental health. Mental health is just a part of your everyday health. And I think if people would seek that mental health, and especially during this time and with your marriage, I think things will come out a lot better. You'll be a lot calmer. You'll get a lot of stuff off your chest. And I think that'll make you overall healthier and your marriage healthier.
Okay. So
now, wait, hold on. Wait, I got one question. I need clarity.
I knew it was coming.
I need clarity. Ms. Shakir, you said your mental health was being married to him for 18 years. Is what you said? I just want to be clear.
No, that's not what I said.
Okay.
What I was saying was my connection to mental health was through the way of Jermaine.
Okay.
But not that, mental health, because we've been married for 18 years. So no.
We got married so young. We got married at 20. I was 23 and she was 22. And now I'm 42 and she's 41. So being married at such a young age and being able to stick in there, but not understanding the fundamentals of marriage at such a young age, when you get older, you kind of have to go back and reduce some things over a little bit to make sure that the chemistry is there and that you are having a healthy, balanced marriage. So that mental health piece really ties into that and makes everything a little bit more cohesive.
Yeah,
I agree.
That's a good. I like the way y'all fixed that. That was pretty.
So Team Cherry, thank you for sharing. Team Curtis, what are your thoughts about mental health?
Well, my thoughts about mental health, I guess for us, I was coming off a divorce, and for him, he was dealing with the loss of his wife. So we kind of went through a healing process together in aspects of our loss, and just connecting in on that really brought us closer to the point of where we are, that we can really talk with each other and share with each other everything. It seems like we've been together, Cherries, for 18 years.
Yeah, it seems like it.
But it's really been 3 years, and it's really been fruitful for us, just bonding in that sense.
You said something that's interesting, and it also goes back to what the Cherry shared, is that they've been married for 18 years, but you said 3, but it feels like 18, right? So,
Absolutely.
and do you think it has anything to do with the season of which you got married? Like you said, fast forward to now, do you think that now, because you're a little more seasoned, do you feel like this marriage is different than before?
I would have to say, I think it's got a lot to do with mental stability, as you was talking about with mental health, because I've personally been through a whole lot. I know she has as well. And we were there to comfort one another and to know that that there's a background that has to be built off from and healed.
Yeah.
So a lot of this, like you said, the seasoning and things that we've been through.
Yeah, see, he was seasoned with salt, and I was seasoned with pepper. So when you put it together,
Hey.
that season was right. But yeah, the 3 years, like we've been together, we just knew when we came together, because we were ready, to take that step. And we just gelled together perfectly.
Awesome.
So let me ask you this now, since you knew you was ready and you gelled together. Now, how did you guys know that, you knew that we all got friends, everybody got friends, but how did you know he was the man? And how did you know she was the woman? Even in the pain process, healing process, what made you say, that's it, that's him? What was it?
You know what? Let me just say.
Okay, go ahead.
It was a knowing from the Lord. I knew that he was going to be white. I knew that he was going to be prophetic, and I knew that we were going to operate in ministry. So when we actually met online through an online service. I know a lot of Christians kind of, stray away from that, but we actually met online, and it was at this time where I said, this is going to be my last week on. If nothing happens, that's just going to be it. Same thing he said. And so he happened to look at my profile, and I was like, wait a minute, how he going to look at my profile, but then not say nothing? So I went to his profile, and, I just said, hello, how you doing? I see you looked at my picture, and I see we have a lot of things in common. And, so we just started talking from there, and that knowing it just happened right off the bat right there. So like that's how we started gelling together, just from our conversation and just from a lot of things that we actually have in common.
Yeah, not trying to be so spiritual and all, but actually the Lord did speak to me and revealed some things to me about her that she was going to say before she even said it, and even to the point of where she would want her honeymoon and all that stuff. I mean,
yeah,
it was awesome.
Yeah, it was.
That's deep right there. I mean, but so the Lord he really took y'all through there.
He had to.
Yeah.
He had to. He did.
Because I didn't want to go through what I had been through. And, for him, he was with his wife that passed away for 20 years. So coming back into the scene and getting with someone, you've been with someone for that long, you don't want to tolerate no foolishness either. So we prayed.
Right.
Now,
and prayer worked.
Right.
It worked.
And it worked. Praise God. Now I wanna bring up one thing that you did mention about you guys meeting online, and you said that some Christians feel some type of way about it, and it's not necessarily some. But I want to say this, and then you can respond to anything after that. But I want to say this: they talk on Facebook and be hitting each other up. So what's the difference between Messenger and Black People Meet or White People or whatever meets.com? What's the difference? They still doing the same thing, but because you using the actual website where it don't look suspicious, and then hide not, but anyway, I'm not gonna go there. But
that's true.
Okay, you look like you had something to say, but I just wanted to put that out there that people are so judgmental and everything like that. And so you what you're saying, you guys were you both ministers prior to?
Yes.
You guys were ministers that were dealing with divorce and the loss.
Right.
Yeah, I was pastoring before we met.
Yeah. And I just brought myself on over, and now we're pastoring together.
Praise God. Now, so I want to ask you, and then I got to go to the church because they look like they sizzling and they ready to go. They ready to go. So how did that work out with the church? You got one divorced, and then then the new lady coming in, new first lady. How'd that go? Go ahead.
Honestly, it didn't work. I had to close the church down. It wasn't accepted the way it should have been. So things didn't work out the way it should have. So I had to shut it down, close down. I went and sat for a minute until we got through our marriage and through our beginnings. And then now we're starting again together.
Yeah.
So she's not taking the place of nobody or anything like that. It's us.
Now, brother, I'm gonna say that was deep, and I'm gonna say you shut your whole church down for this one, Lord, chief girl.
That's right.
What did you do? Let me stop. He keep looking at her. Lord, he keep looking at her. Let me stop. I'm gonna stop. But that is awesome.
I like that because, like he said, it was so that they can start their own beginning. And, again, that takes maturity and being seasoned to know when you have to start over and be okay with that. You know what I mean? So, wow, that's deep. I love that.
Yes.
So do you find that your church family, now that you started back, are they more embracing to it now that they realize that they couldn't basically control you?
Yeah. Yeah. We're embraced together. She's not, like I said, she's not trying to take nobody's place or nothing. She's embraced. I'm embraced.
Yeah.
Wow. That's powerful.
What I'm talking about. Know what I'm talking about.
Now that's that good stuff right there. I'm gonna write that down and save that for later. Now and later. Thank y'all for that. Thank y'all for that. So Cherries, tell me, 18 years. Well,
18.
now as time goes by, when you look back on the pictures, so there's a lot of changing that happens. But tell me something. Now, I know it usually it can be something easy to remember, but how did you know? Let me see. I don't know which one knew first, so I'm not even going to put a name to it. How did you know that the other one was the one?
Well,
we got that look.
Look, y'all gonna give us the Martin Gina version. The Martin Gina version.
In the beginning, when we first met, well, we actually met at Food Line, where we both worked on Capitol Boulevard. He was the produce manager and I was the front end manager. And I wasn't attracted to him, in the beginning. It was like, oh no, you're not the one.
She front. Yes, she was. I'm from a hospital. She front. She was.
But after the first date, seeing him outside of work clothes and, everything, I was like, okay, this might be something right here. But I still couldn't let him know from, the gate. I was like, okay. And then just over time, dating and talking, I got swindled in.
So he made you his type.
Time in.
Yeah, Shakira's a great, I call her a great girl. She's a great lady. When I met her, she has so many qualities of my mom. Shakira really, she's a home builder. If you know anything about her, her personality type is a steady compliant. She sticks in it to the end. And she's somebody I knew I could build with off the gate. I mean, her head was on her shoulders and she knew where she was going. And I knew I could build with her. And I was very attracted to her. And she was the same. I'm gonna tell you how I know she was the same, because when we were dating, I think we were a couple months into our dating process. I would go home twice a month. Still have my friends there. I'm still a single man. I'm young. And so when I would come back to Raleigh, people would call me at work. Certain young ladies would call me at work. I would get back home and they would be like, hey, Jermaine, I called you, but some girl picked up the phone and said, he don't work here. So I asked her about it. I'm like, hey, were you intercepting some phone calls? Found out it was her. So I knew right then, yep, got her. She the one. You've been together since 1999. There you go.
Wait. She was intercepting the phone. Y'all wasn't moved up.
He ain't here no more.
I was 19 years old, maybe about to turn 20. We were dating for maybe a month, so filling each other out. She was a little bit distant, but I didn't know she was intercepting every phone call. And then, in those days, you didn't really have a cell phone. Unless you were bowling with a bag phone in your car, you really have a cell phone. So people had to actually physically call your job or your home. So they would call the job, and she would intersect all the phone calls and tell all the little interested ladies that Jermaine doesn't work here or he is no longer available.
Jermaine, your story sounds real true. Shakira, what happened? What happened?
He's right.
So you did start. He started looking cute in the Food Line outfit, basically.
Right, but he switched up his game. He would come in and put on the good tie. He kind of switched up a little bit. Just won't, the khakis and a shirt. It's like, okay, you coming in here with a good tie on.
In those days, they taught you to dress professionally for where you're going in life. Sound like it is. It's a little bit different maybe now in some sectors, but in those days, you had to wear a tie, you had to wear a belt, you had to look presentable, even at work. And so I was a produce manager, so fruits and vegetables, I'm getting all dirty, and she thinks that's my normal flow. So when we had our first date, I really showed her this is my flow, and her eyes got just as big as they are now. 20 years.
I believe him, Shakira. I do. I believe his side of the story. I think you covering up, but it's okay. It's quite y'all. 18 years, y'all still together, even though you ain't. That somebody said you was intercepting the calls like Deion Sanders.
Like Deion Sanders. And look, you got Brother Ryan up here talking about Jay Cherry threw that a hockey game on her.
Hey, y'all know about a hospital, you know what it is.
No. I don't know much about a husky. I don't. So that was it the spirit of the Lord that because I know you guys are in church. So did the Lord tell you that she was the one? And because people have different interpretations off of knowing when the right one is there, and then they end up with the wrong one.
Wrong.
Well, for me, I can't say that the Lord told me. I can't do that, but I can say this. I knew in my spirit that she was the one. Again, she has I'm a mama. I love my mom. I mean, we're very close. I have a lot of traits from her. Shakia exuded those same traits as my mom. So, and no other female had done that to that level. So it was very good for me. Once I saw her character and how she carried herself, I'm like, you do things like my mom do. And so I was already drawn to her from that connection, and it just never changed.
Yeah, and for me, again, being 21, 20, I can't say the Lord told me, yes, he's the one. It's just something that I knew over time, like, okay, I can really see us doing some things together. I can really see this molding, building something. Because I think as women, we already have that nurture anyway, for me anyway, to see the distance. I see what I want. I know what I want for the future. So I kind of saw those things in Jermaine and was like, okay, I can really do something with this. Let's see where this will go. And
you can work with this.
I can work with this.
I like that. I like that. So since we do have the preachers on here, guys, what is that indicator for those viewers that are concerned and they're trying to figure out if they got the right one? Spiritually, what kind of message are we looking for? Is it, what qualities do you think it would take?
Marinate on that, because that would be something that we could probably offer as nuggets at the end.
Well, I was just okay.
Our minds want to know.
All right. I digress.
So, because see, what I want to get to is, because I see all the great stuff and how they fell in love, everybody happy. This pandemic came in. Now let's talk about the pandemic in this quarantine. And we was on lockdown 24/7. Okay, until we felt comfortable enough. Some of y'all are essential workers, so you probably had to still venture out and do what you had to do. But how did the pandemic affect your marriage, or did it? Was it all still good, or was there some straining points there? Let's see, Team Curtis, what do you think?
How did the pandemic affect that?
Actually, we've gotten closer through the pandemic.
Okay.
We've actually do things together inside the house. I mean, we both are essential workers, so we go out and do that. But when we come home, I mean, we've made time to go do things together.
Yes.
We've do things in the house together. I love to cook, so I like to cook with her. Do things that are therapeutic for our relationship.
Yeah.
But it's not therapeutic as far as business. It's fun.
Yes.
It's enjoyable.
Yes. We get away to the beach.
Oh.
We go walking through the trails. I mean, whatever we can do just to keep our sanity. Because a lot of times when you are around a person 24/7, you can run out of stuff to talk about. Yeah. But we like to keep stuff interesting by doing different things. He's still trying to get me to go fishing, but I don't know about that one. I will see. I will see.
That sounds like fun.
But it does for the fish and for him. Now we go to he trying to get me to go fishing, and he trying to get me to go to the gun range.
Oh.
Now those two, I'm still working my way up.
You got to try new things.
Which is true. See, I'm more even kill. For me, I'm A through Z. I have to plan it out. Okay. Him, he's very spontaneous. So on the fly, he can, say, let's go and do. And I'm like, okay, well, let's map out what we gonna take and how we gonna do it. And, So
Takes the fun away.
yeah, so he's kind of getting me to that point where I'm just like, okay, you know what? Let's flow and go. Let's flow and go.
And that's I mean, that's kind of like an indication of like opposite track, right? You gotta have both of y'all can't be ready to roll, and dip out. One of y'all got a plan, and one of y'all got to be ready to do something new. So I think that kind of keeps things alive.
Exactly.
So as far as like alone time, before I cross over to the cherries, like as far as alone time, because everybody still needs the me time, especially us women, we need our time and men need their time. Do you find, was it challenging to kind of get that time because you either were at work doing the essential work, but then you came home and it was not like you could really just go to the movies or, do anything like that?
Well, we got a big house and we don't have no children or anything like that. So, I mean, we get plenty of, alone time. I'll come downstairs, she'll stay upstairs. We got TV in both places. I like yard work. I mean, we still have alone time.
Yeah.
Okay.
He does his thing. I'm really an introvert. And so the good thing is that he came along like understanding that from the beginning, that a lot of times I'll kind of steal away a little bit, and just take a little bit of, personal time, but I still make sure that, we get together. We love watching different movies together, action, whatever the case may be, comedy, or binging. We love binging off of Netflix on somebody's recommendation, so we do those things together. And like you said, he cooks, he cooks breakfast, and he's a really great guy.
That's a keeper.
Yeah, he's a keeper.
No, that's right. Advocate for yourself, Mr. Thomas. Okay. Well, thank y'all. Thank y'all for that. So, Team Cherry, this pandemic, how has it been?
It's been good, and it has been challenging, all at the same time. Being that we were both still essential workers and working, go home, and then being in business together. I think the most challenging part for us is not being able to go anywhere, because that was just like our thing, to travel when we needed that break, because we stay so busy with just work and regular life, and not being able to travel to the places just to kind of get away was hard. After a couple of months, it was like, wow, what is going on? We're doing the same thing, if not just a little bit more, but we realized we ain't taking no break. We couldn't go nowhere to get some fresh air and stuff. So that has been the challenging part. And then just trying to come up with new ways or new things to do to kind of break away, since we can't physically travel, right now. But it's had some good to it too, because we've had time to really come together even more, communicate more, map out a plan for the rest of 2020, where we're going, goal setting. So it's been good, but the challenging part for me has just the breakaway point that everybody needs. And we haven't been able to do that like we normally would.
Yeah, and we don't minimize that. I mean, because we love to travel abroad. It does a lot for us. It gets us in a different space, different atmosphere. And I'm a writer and director, so it helps me come up with new ideas for things that I do. We had a company, Dreamcast Productions, and where we do stage plays. And I love it. And that's another break, because I get to express myself through plays. And then the pandemic came, it shut all that down. It's like it wiped it away overnight, something that we've been doing for the last 6-7 years, just like that. And so now I'm starting to think, all right, what else am I going to do? That's my passion, is to write and entertain. And I love to help people heal through hilarity and things of that nature, and all this different subjects. So it's like, Lord, now what? Because that's the talent you've given me. So now, and so what he showed us through this pandemic is, all right, you can't travel abroad. You have to stay where you are. Even though we are together 24/7 anyway, it's a little bit different now, because you take away the traveling, you take away the Dreamcast part, because you don't know when you're going to be able to go back to a packed theater. And then it's like, okay, now what do you do with this raw situation? And he has showed us so much. He's revealed so much to us about ourselves that we thought we knew, but it's some stuff on the surface that we really didn't know. But it's so beautiful because now we know it, and now it's made us grow even stronger. I respect and love this woman more now than before the pandemic came. So let me just say this. I'm not advocating for this pandemic, but I thank God that it came because it actually cleansed a lot of stuff in our marriage that we didn't know needed cleansing, that now it has been cleaned and now we're stronger because of it. And when this thing is over, watch out.
Wow.
What do you mean, watch out? What's up?
We got something on our sleeve. I told you, Dreamcast had to be tabled, but God gave us a new vision and a new passion and a different direction in entertainment that we're going to be bringing to the mass public that is going to blow Dreamcast out of the water, and we're just excited about it.
Wow. Now, one thing that I've noticed that you guys are doing that looks great to me, and I don't know if the viewers or anybody's seen it, but every time a question comes, you guys just look at each other. You may say something or not, but it's like either one of us can answer, and I'm comfortable with you saying, I see the cohesiveness that you guys have. It's like, I don't have to say it, you can say, and I mean, y'all just got all of that, both couples, you guys do it. And then, one time I thought the Curtis was going to kiss. I was like, whoa. I was just like, Lord.
Hey.
But I can really sense the togetherness that you guys have. And so now I want to, outside of the pandemic, it looks like to me the pandemic has been a blessing to your marriage, a blessing even to your future. But just how have you guys supported, and this question is going to be for both of you guys as well, but how have you as the other spouse supported one another when there were those things like the Dreamcast and like the church that you haven't been able to do because of the pandemic? And I'm coming from a place of knowing that, I've been in church with 4 people for 5 months, and I'm gonna tell you, not getting the amen has been mentally disturbing. So Jermaine and Shakia, Shakia, how do you support Jermaine in the fact that he's not that hypeness and that because I've seen him prepare for those plays and he's on level 12.
Mm-hmm.
And he's telling you it's going to be the greatest thing alive, and they're still rehearsing. And so, how do you support him with that missing link that's there? How do you do that?
Well, like he said, his gift is writing. So just because we're not physically in the theater putting on stage plays, you still have a gift of writing. That hasn't gone anywhere. So just still encouraging him to write whatever that this new avenue was going to be. We just got to shift with it. Things have changed now, so we just got to move with time, and just encouraging him, let him know, hey, just keep writing whatever direction that the Lord is leading him in with this with the pandemic and stuff. We just gonna roll with it.
Roll with the punches.
We just gonna roll with it.
That's roll with. And by the way, I have acting skills as well if you need.
And the different time. Yeah, no, but just to piggyback off what Shakia said, I have learned to really listen to Shakia. Shakia's not a big talker, so I wake up in the morning, boom, 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 I'm ready. Like, what we're gonna do, how we're gonna do it, this, what we're gonna do, blah, blah. She has to process it and take her time. So I've learned to slow down a little bit, really listen to her, not just hear her, but listen to her, and then maintain my lane and let her stay in her lane and what she naturally does naturally, and not cross over in between the lanes because we don't have these perspective things going on that we did before the pandemic. So just by taking the time to listen to her and listen to her express herself, I think she's been really appreciative to it. I know I am, because I've learned a different side of it that I didn't know that was there earlier.
Mm-hmm.
Now I want to ask you something. How long did it take you to learn? Because you said it like it was recent, but I don't know. But the way you said it, how long did it take you to learn to listen to her?
The pandemic. Again, a lot of things
Wait.
yeah.
The pandemic. After 18 years, Never mind. Go ahead.
I always hear her. I do. I mean, we work well together. But really, women, everything's different with a man and a woman, and women are more sensitive to certain things. And I think she just became accustomed over time of the status quo. But now that I've opened up to a little bit more, and I'm really, and she didn't ask for this. I did this on my own. I think, if I can use God speaking to me, he kind of did give me a revelation, like, this woman that I've given you, are you really cherishing her? And are you really listening to her emotions and what she really feels? Or are you just hearing her and kind of making your own decision and the household going towards that direction? So when I really took time and I talked to her, I said, the Lord spoke to me and said, I need to listen to you. So what you got to say? What I listened to her, and she is so profound. The woman is bad. Shakira is, she's on point. And I'm so excited with the ideas that she has and the passion and emotion she has for things she wants in her life and that she wants to accomplish on her own, and what she wants to bring to the table, and we accomplish together as a family. So I'm very blessed to have her, really.
Wow. 18 years, girl. You listening to you, girl. You put in some work. I love that.
You got to say it like Apostle Thomas. I'm a keeper. I'm a keeper.
18 years, it's not been easy, by no means, but it ain't been bad neither. We were different people 20 years ago when we actually met, still so young, but through all the obstacles, the ups and the downs, we stuck through it. His thing was, I ain't going nowhere. And my thing was, well, I ain't going nowhere neither. So I guess we just gonna keep rolling with the punches. And it's now 18 years later, and it doesn't even seem like it's been 18 years.
Right. Because y'all look just a few years older than 18.
Right?
Yeah, y'all looking good. So Curtis, tell us, how has it been? I know I explained my situation with church and how that has felt. How have you guys been able to support one another with that missing link there, and just kind of being that backbone of support for those, those things that we're really passionate about that the pandemic affected?
I think our ability to support one another has just been on our ability to compromise. As far as pushing him and supporting him in his pastorate, at this time while he was rebuilding, and just being that support and offering that assistance, and just standing with him and really giving that pull and that push, that was needed. So that really gelled us together in this moment in the pandemic, where a lot of stuff could be falling apart and getting upset, about the process, about what's going on. He was saying, like, this is maybe a strange thing, but God is saying for me to go in the midst of this pandemic.
There's power in the pandemic.
There's power in the pandemic.
Wow.
Where people were pulling back from it. He was saying, no, God is saying for us to push through this, because there's power in it. I'm a puller by nature. So if you're gonna go with it, I'm gonna pull you through it. So that's what he's decided to do. And we just kept that mindset. We just kept that focus, that God has given him, that there's power in the pandemic. And we've been seeing it, because you continue in that power in the pandemic, out comes purpose, out comes promise.
There's purpose in everything that has been established by God or been accepted by God to work in our lives.
Yes.
We just have to tap in, and we got to find it. And my wife has been phenomenal. I mean, she has really walked out the word of God as being a helpmate, just stepping in where I didn't even see some things sometimes, and helped me to adjust and help me to continue going down the path that I had first suggested. And I mean, she's just been wonderful. She's been very supportive.
Man. So that's how we make it through the pandemic, just compromising and supporting, even if we feel like one should go left and one should go right. It's that compromise that really help us to really get back on track and to really stay focused and to persevere. So that's really, oh, we could persevere in the pandemic.
Hey,
That's
them
been our
people.
help right there.
Now you know. Now there is something that I want to, and I'm gonna bring this. Y'all know, pray for me. So the compromising part. Now you got some people in this world that say they ain't changing for nobody. And
Right.
not only that, but how do you know that the timing is right to compromise?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm saying that because you know, when you know you right
Mhm.
and the other person is all the way wrong,
All
Gotta
the way.
and you trying to, and you just, they won't listen. How do you know when to just give in and compromise? How you know? Come on, y'all talk to us.
Well, what helps me is to give up my right to want to be right.
Ooh.
Even though I know that I'm right at certain times. At certain times. I give up my right to want to be right. And when I give up my right to want to be right, he always comes back and he says, you know what, babe, wow, I see that now. Oh, I see what you were saying now. And
Not always.
not always, but when it happens, we see compromise as a beautiful thing. When we both give up our right to want to be right, just to do what's right.
Hmm.
No, I was gonna say no disrespectful to any man or any husband out there, but one of the problems that we have as a husband is we try to take control of our wives. And one of the things that I have found is I can't control my wife. I can lead her, I can guide her, and I can allow her to follow me. So if I quit trying to control her, then I can start controlling where I'm going. And when I start controlling where I'm going, then if that's my wife, then she's going to follow me where I'm at.
Yeah,
Y'all preach now.
yeah,
Y'all
but
preach. See, there's nothing wrong with. See, one thing I think people got, and I'm not getting ready to preach, but you got my spirit riled up. But see, one thing that I think is important is that the Bible tells us that a man should love his wife as Christ has loved the church, and Christ was a servant unto the church.
Come on now.
That's all. I'm gonna leave that alone, and I'm gonna let Cherry tell us about the compromise. Cause we about to have church. And come on. I'll get excited.
Well, for me, I'm, almost the same. I pray and say, okay, I'm just gonna give in and just pray and say, Lord, I know I'm right on this. Please show him or send something his way that he will see exactly what I'm saying. So that's how I really do it. I just give in or compromise and say, okay, let's go this route. And then I just pray and say, okay, well, Lord, if it's his way, then show me, but please show him that it's my way, and I know this is the way. So I leave it up to the Lord.
All right. So the difference with that with me and her is, I listen to her wisdom, right? And the one thing that I do that she hasn't come around to quite yet is that when I'm wrong, I am the first one to go to her and say, babe, I was wrong. You were right. That was not the right decision. However, she will never come back to me and say, honey, I was wrong. The most she'll say is, I just didn't give you all the facts. She was wrong. No.
I always tell women, let the man be the head, just be the neck.
That turns it.
We gotta remember too, Lady Chapman at Raleigh North Christian Center, she has always instilled in us that oftentimes we have to die daily. And it's like Prophet shared with us that, you know, I don't always have to be right, you know, and so when you have to let that go, because as women, a lot of times, most of us women are very independent. We've been doing a lot of things on our own before we come into a relationship or to a marriage. And so a lot of times we're just used to kind of running, you know, on auto mode, and we forget that we have to kind of fall back and follow the head, you know, but we can influence. And I think we underestimate our power of influence because sometimes they don't see it our ways. Like we speak in different languages. Like we said the same thing, but then the homeboys say it, and then they be like, yeah, so-and-so says something. Be like, I didn't say anything. But it's cool because part of that growth is let them have time to process, because what they say, men are from Mars, women are from Venus. At the end of the day, as long as we get to the same destination, we good. It's just how we get there may be different. So,
Right.
yeah.
I think, yeah, and I think that, you know, it's key that from what you guys are saying, you got to listen, you got to be able to compromise. That you do have some folks that's just, it's my way or no way at all. And I think that's a part of deliverance over time that you have to get to. Would you guys agree with that? It takes time to understand that. And so, go ahead.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yes, I was agreeing. It does take time, you know, especially like she was saying that you've been single for a while, you've been independent, you come with your own things, so it takes a while for you to kind of relinquish and practice that becoming one. Because anytime you practice something, you get perfect at it. A habit is 21 days, and you form it, you go from there. So it does take practice to compromise and to let go of self and to think less of yourself and think highly of the other person. You think less of yourself and then highly of the other person. That's how you can mesh together. Doesn't always work that way, but that's the formula.
And my hat really does go off to the women who have done so much in life singular, because, you know, they have carried a big weight, you know, for families.
Right.
And one thing about men is we, as strong as we are, we do take our time in folding, and we forget that the women there are wisdom. They are, women have a lot of wisdom, and we're muscular, we're strong, we're going, but we forget to fold over to that wisdom sometimes. And we have to come to a humility place to where we understand that women have our best interest if we would just be with them.
Yeah.
Y'all don't seem no 3 years old. I'm telling y'all got.
No, y'all about 33.
I got about 20, 33. That's
I
up.
felt all that. I felt it all.
Everything.
But you know, I think that, you know, what you guys are saying is very true, and it's very. And I think about a lot of times when we think about a helpmeet. I personally like to look at the word help, and when I look at the word help, if you go to the bank trying to get a loan, you are asking for what? Help, right?
And
Now you're not going to go to a source asking. I'm not going to preach. Stop it. Don't look at me like that. You're not going to go to a source for help unless what? They have more than you do. And so oftentimes I think that they will look at women, and a lot of times people have in the essence and the idea that women are just so much weaker. They're weaker because they're more sensual. But they have so many other strengths that they can offer. And so when they come to the man, that help part, they have to be just as strong and just as powerful as he is in a different way in order to properly help him. That's all I got. But go ahead. You got something. Go ahead.
I'm gonna save mine for full circle. I'm gonna hold mine. I'm gonna hold my part.
But for the cherries, so you guys, like, what has been your medicine for how you really have just kind of challenged and been able to overcome a challenge? What was the medicine for? What was that remedy?
Communication definitely is key. Learning how to communicate. And for me, I sometimes would just kind of hold back and not communicate, just go with the flow. Okay, just kind of dismiss it. But just over the years and definitely through the pandemic, communication is key. Like, you have to communicate. You have to tell your spouse, this is what you're feeling, this is what you like, and even down to the littlest things, because you can't assume that they know how you're feeling.
Mhm.
And if you just keep dismissing that, you just gonna keep going around in the same circle and getting upset about the same thing. So for me, communication is definitely got to be key.
And then me and Shakir, we are realists. We don't try to. It's no fairy dust. It's no fairy. We're realists, and we've come to the conclusion that I am not leaving. She is not leaving. So that's the foundation. Now, how do you build on that and make this thing work? Because at the end of the day, neither one of you are going nowhere. But you have to communicate and over communicate. I mean, and communication is so easy. You just talk and you talk, and it don't have to be something that you have to, let's take an hour today and talk. It's too formal. You just do it throughout the day. I might send her a text. That's communicating. I might just say, hey, babe, I'm thinking about you. She lights up, send me about 10 hearts back and a kiss, you know what I'm saying? But it's just that communication throughout the day, complimenting her. She'll come down, saying, how was the dinner? Different things like that. And it just builds a rapport, And now when we have to face the more serious topics, now because we've been communicating with the small things, the big things, we can just kind of chop it up and do it in sections, keep our sanity, and then move on. But you got to talk, and you got to let your spouse know what you like, what you don't like, what irritates you, what makes you happy. And then meet somewhere in the middle, because it's just going to make you a happy wife. Is a happy life is the best statement I've ever heard in my life from the old man back in the day. I didn't understand it when I was younger. I understand it now. A happy wife equals a happy life. Because if your wife is happy, genuinely happy, then it makes the household better. It makes the marriage better. It makes everything better if your wife is happy. If you have a good wife, if you have a good one, and I know I have that, and many other people may have that too. And so if you're a man and you know how to make your wife happy, in return she makes you happy, then you have a happy union. Then you can do everything better. You can praise better. You can worship better. You can pray better. You can talk to God better. Because if your spouse is not happy, you can't really communicate with God in that way that you could if you had peace in your household. And we believe in peace and tranquility in the Cherry household.
Wonderful.
Right.
That's awesome. Now it's about time to do full circle. So Curtis, in one word, what would be that word that you would use to be that would help to overcome challenges? Maybe one word, one statement, just to kind of help to sum it up there, because you guys were shaking your heads with the cherries. So what would it be? What would you say?
Squash the squabble.
Hmm?
Explain that. I got to hear more. Come on.
That's something that we kind of adapted. Little squabbles happen. They do with you're married. Things can come up, and there's squabbles. But squabbles can be magnified. So what we try to do is squash the squabbles, and that help us to stay in communication and to stay in respect of one another.
One of a church saying would be to don't blow up the negatives, and the enemy can't, or don't blow up the negatives.
Mm-hmm. Don't blow them up. Squash the squabbles.
I like that. That's awesome. Guys, this has been an awesome discussion. Now let me tell y'all something. Y'all gave us so much good stuff until, I'm gonna have to watch this again. But we'll say this, we're at our full circle moment. And what our full circle moment is that opportunity to just come together, give us your last closing statements. It's almost like the benediction at church, where that prayer, and then you go in and you have those last few words. So our full circle for today is just going to be your closing remarks, and just any type of recommendation that you guys would like to give to people that are aspiring to be married, or those couples that may be struggling right now during this pandemic, or just in general altogether. So we'll start with the cherries. You guys can go first.
Some advice I would give people, who are married, it's just hang in there, stick in there, and like your spouse, like what your spouse brings to the table, actually like each other, and just keep building. Just don't give up. Keep building.
And communicate. Communication is key. Hanging in there, and if you communicate with one another, then it's nothing that you can do together that will not be impossible.
Awesome, awesome. Now, can you guys tell us a little bit about your business that you're about to launch or that you're launching? We don't have to know what the plays or none of that is about.
Entertainment.
Well, we're pleased to announce to your beautiful audience our brand new project. It's called The Sizzle Factor with Jermaine and Shakia. So it's our brand new podcast. It'll be coming out in mid-September. So get ready for The Sizzle Factor with Jermaine and Shakia, and you can find this podcast on any of the media that you get your favorite podcast from. We're going to be on every stream. So just check us out. I'm telling you, we're going to have some hot topics that's going to excite the people, and we're going to keep it 100% real and authentic, and it's going to be a must-hear type of entertainment. So get ready for it.
Sizzle. I like that. And congratulations on the sizzle factor. I can't wait to sizzle with you. That's all right, right?
Yeah.
So, all right, that's that. I love that topic. So, guys, make sure y'all look out for the sizzle factor. We definitely going to. This couple is strong. They got a powerful bond, so we definitely got to hear from them. Sizzle factor. Definitely excited and looking forward to that. All right, now we're over to the Curtises. Come on, if you have some closing remarks or advice for those that are aspiring to be married or those that are married, and what would be your advice to leave with them on today?
I think for those that are married, the advice that we would leave is to validate one another, validate each other's feelings, try to have that listening ear. Not just to hear what they're saying, but to make a point to understand what they're saying. People can communicate differently. So you want to be sure that you have learned each other's communication style. And that way you're not taken off by surprise. When you learn how each other communicate, you would know how to handle the situation better. For those that are desiring to be married, our closing thing would be to, just focus on yourself. If there's places that you need to be healed in, get healed, get complete. And then when the person comes along, you won't find yourself needing to be completed, but you'll find yourself becoming whole when you run into the one that's meant for you.
That's a good point. If I may just add to that I believe one of the things I've been talking about is you got to learn to listen with your heart. You have to, that heart is your center ear to where your emotions are, where love factors is. If you could just learn to listen with your heart, you'll begin to understand something, be able to see things in a new light, and have that stability in your relationship. So please just start listening with your heart, not with your mind so much.
That's beautiful. Now tell us about your ministry and where we can find you, hear you, listen to you.
So we are located in North Raleigh, Six Forks Road. We are a new church plant, the Net Fellowship Ministries. Service starts at 11 a.m. If you would like to fellowship with us, we do follow the CDC guidelines. As a nurse, I make sure of that. We do practice social distancing, and we also have mass for those that would like to participate. It's 5720 Six Forks Road in Raleigh, North Carolina.
Now, you guys on social media, anywhere, social media platforms?
We do have the Net Fellowship on Facebook. We do have that Facebook page, and we'll be streaming live very soon.
All right, awesome. All right, full circle for you, Vicki.
So one of my favorite movies is Jerry Maguire, and I remember when Tom Cruise at the end, that heated moment where he was like, "You complete me," and at the time I was like, "Wow, oh my God, that is so awesome." But as I've continued to grow, and my husband and I, we've been married going on 13 years now, I realized that it's not necessarily that you complete me, but you enhance me. Because one of the things that Apostle just shared is that it's not about being complete, because you should be whole when you meet your helpmeet or helpmate, your spouse. Because if you're not, that means you're running off a depletion and you're expecting that person to make you whole. And then that means they're not whole because they're giving you what you need to be whole. So I think at the end of the day, and true, we have our seasons. It's not always going to be perfect. But I think at the end of the day, we have to learn each other and build off of each other's strengths and weaknesses. Where I might be weak, he may be strong, and vice versa. And also glean from God. As long as you have Christ in the mix, you'll be fine. And I think that it's beautiful that a husband and wife is one of the strongest unions, or the strongest union out here. And so I think that we have to cleave to that and really remember that. And I think the pandemic has helped me remember that we're stronger together and we're going to get through this together. And a lot of people are losing their loved ones. They're losing their spouses to this COVID-19, and it's tragic. And so, like Apostle mentioned, squash and squabble or something like that is, we have to remember that pick the battle. At the end of the day, it's not always worth it. We got to save our energy and fight the big fight. And, so I think that that's key. So I just wanted to share that with everybody. And again, appreciate the guests for coming on this afternoon, sharing their nuggets, being transparent, sharing their stories with everyone who really wants to know, how do you stay together through the pandemic? Because it's not easy, but when you find the right fit, it can seem easy, and it can be easier as long as you have the right mate with you. So I just wanted to say that. And again, thank you, guests, for joining us this afternoon. And I'll be sharing information on our across our screen as Miss Natasha closes us out. If indeed you feel that anything has sparked any triggers for our streaming audience, please feel free to reach out to the numbers that I'm going to share with you momentarily. And again, I appreciate everybody this afternoon. Thank you.
Thank you for having us.
Thanks for having us.
Listen, guys, this has been so good to me. It's been fun. It's been a lot of wisdom, a lot of real just sharing and talking. I'm trying to be serious, and I don't want to make nobody laugh. But it's been awesome. It's been absolutely awesome. And we want to definitely thank you guys. Now, I want to say this, that the information that we received today from these panelists has been fruitful and it's useful. And so I encourage you to share this with a couple. Share this particular session with a couple. Share this with a single individual. It may just be that opportunity for you to help them get to the next level of what their heart's desire might be. And so definitely, guys, my takeaway from today is that I forget the author's name, but it's a quote, and it's not my own words, but he says that I'd rather be at peace than to win a war. And in winning a war, sometimes there's so many fatalities and there's death and there's blood. But to be at peace sometimes just means to compromise and to recognize that we're all people, we're all individuals, and we're all created with flaws. And so once again, I want to thank the panelists. You guys were awesome. And, there's a lot of things that you guys brought up today that I would love to tap into again. Because, the stuff that y'all was talking about, I wanted to tap further, but I said, no, I'm going to leave it for later and save it for later. So I'm going to ask y'all in front of the World Wide Web, would you guys be interested in coming back for round 2, possibly? Is that a possibility? In front of everybody. You in front of the whole church right now.
Absolutely.
Awesome. So guys, listen up. Thank everybody. Thank you all for tuning in. Thank you again, couples. We really do. You guys really were awesome today. And definitely be on the lookout for round 2, but part 2. Be on the lookout for that. Also on next week, we're going to be talking about mental health and divorce. So today we talked about marriage, but next week is going to be about divorce, and it's going to be heavy, y'all. It's going to be heavy.
We're going to have 2 parts, actually. We're going to have
2. That's how heavy it's going to be. We had to do 2 parts back to back. It's just going to be so heavy. It's going
to be the latest edition. This is good. This is going to be the latest edition, the first part, and then you're going to hear from the men the following week, and they got to say their story, their side of the story.
So let me tell you, it's gonna be good. It's gonna be super good. So listen, guys, at about 5:30, 5:45, we're gonna do an after talk. We're gonna be calling a spouse. We're gonna be calling, I'm not even gonna tell y'all who, but definitely we got a guest person that we're gonna call that's gonna give us additional information on what they saw about the show. So definitely thank you guys. Have an awesome, blessed evening, awesome, blessed night. We're gonna be coming back at 6 p.m. Y'all take care and thank you so much.
Thank you.
Amen.
Yeah.